You get dressed every morning without thinking about it. A shirt, some pants, maybe a jacket if it's cold. It feels automatic, almost invisible, like breathing. But the real answer to why you do this at all is far stranger than warmth or weather. Clothing is not just protection from the cold. It is one of the oldest technologies your species ever invented, and it may have saved humans from extinction. Here is the strange part. Humans are naked apes. Nearly every other mammal on Earth has fur thick enough to survive its climate. Wolves have fur. Bears have fur. Even your closest living relatives, chimpanzees, are covered head to toe. You are the exception. Somewhere in your evolutionary past, your ancestors lost almost all of their body hair. Then they had to solve the problem they created. Scientists have tried to pin down exactly when this happened. Not by digging up ancient shirts because cloth rots and disappears within decades. Instead, researchers looked at something much smaller. Lice. Human head lice and human body lice are genetically different species. Body lice can only survive in clothing. They cannot live directly on skin for long. So if you know when body lice evolved as a separate species from head lice, you know roughly when clothing became a permanent part of human life. In 2011, evolutionary biologist Mark Stoneking and his colleagues analyzed the genetic divergence between these two lice species. Their estimate placed the origin of clothing at around 170,000 years ago. That is roughly 70,000 years before modern humans left Africa. Think about that timing. Humans were wearing clothes long before they needed them to survive an Ice Age migration into Europe. So why did clothing appear so early, while humans were still living in the relatively warm climate of Africa? This is where the story gets interesting. Anthropologist Ian Gilligan has proposed that clothing wasn't invented for warmth at all, at least not initially. It may have started as a response to something else entirely: fluctuating climates, seasonal cold snaps, and the simple vulnerability of a species that had already lost its fur before it had any backup plan. Here's what your ancestors were dealing with. Around 2 million years ago, early hominins began losing body hair. One leading theory, championed by researchers like Peter Wheeler and Nina Jablonski, points to something surprising as the culprit: sweating. Humans are exceptional sweaters. You have more sweat glands per square inch of skin than almost any other mammal on the planet. This let your ancestors cool down efficiently while running long distances under the hot African sun, chasing prey until it collapsed from heat exhaustion. Thick fur would have trapped that heat and made this strategy impossible, so losing fur wasn't a flaw. It was a hunting advantage, but that advantage came with a cost. Once the sun went down, or once the climate shifted, or once humans began migrating toward colder regions, a hairless body became a serious liability. There was no fur to fall back on. The skin was exposed, day and night in every season, so your ancestors improvised. Animal hides, woven plant fibers, anything that could be wrapped, draped, or tied around the body. This single decision changed everything about how humans could live. Clothing meant humans were no longer trapped in warm climates. It meant they could follow migrating herds into colder territory. It meant they could survive winters that would have killed a naked, furless primate within hours. Some researchers argue that clothing was just as critical to human survival and expansion as fire or tool use. Without it, humans might have remained confined to Africa indefinitely. There is something else clothing did, something less obvious. It became a form of communication. Once humans started wearing coverings, those coverings could carry meaning. Color, pattern, and style became signals: status, group identity, even individual personality. Archaeologists have found bone needles dating back over 40,000 years, alongside dyed flax fibers discovered in a cave in the Republic of Georgia, dating back over 30,000 years, colored with plant-based pigments. This wasn't just about staying warm. Ancient humans were already using clothing to express something about who they were. That instinct never left you. Every time you choose an outfit, you are participating in something that started nearly 200,000 years ago. The hoodie you throw on, the color you gravitate toward, the way you dress differently for a job interview than you would for a night with friends. None of that is new behavior. It is an ancient survival mechanism, repurposed for a world of climate control and central heating, where you technically no longer need clothes to stay alive at all. And that is the strange twist hiding underneath all of this. You live in heated homes. You drive in climate-controlled cars. You work in temperature-regulated offices. By any biological measure, you don't need clothing to survive the way your ancestors did. And yet you still get dressed every single day. Why? Because clothing stopped being purely about survival a long time ago. It became identity. It became language. It became something your ancestors invented out of desperation and then never let go of, even after the original danger disappeared. So the next time you get dressed without thinking, remember what you're actually doing. You are repeating a decision your ancestors made under existential pressure nearly 200,000 years ago, in a body that had lost its fur too soon and needed something, anything, to take its place. You get dressed every morning without thinking about it. But now you know the real reason. It was never really about the cold.